Welcome to the Velkyn Weave, where a bunch of us nerdy artists, analysts, engineers, writers, nurses, and performers get together and play D&D. So glad you adventurers are joining us tonight. But from where I sit among these adventurers as well. If this is your first time watching the Games Tavern, I know it was a little weird. Needed more beta testing. Still a little doughy. Stick it back in the oven. If this is your first time watching the Games Tavern, welcome. Please follow the Games Tavern on Twitch. It's free and supports the show, cast, and crew. Remember, you can watch us live on Twitch, and all shows are uploaded to YouTube typically 48 hours afterwards, so you can catch up on all the shows you may have missed. We'll get rolling shortly, but first, some announcements.
That's right. Remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you also get a free Prime Gaming subscription, which you can use to show your support to the show, cast, and crew. Prime Gaming subscribers get access to sub-only emotes and to a special subscriber-only channel on the TGT Discord. Check it out.
And tonight, make sure to cheer on your favorite characters when they do something awesome. Your bits and cheers show your support for the characters and that you love us and that we also love you. Your subs also support the Games Tavern production quality upgrades and make better shows for you. The latest Bits goal supports a new camera microphone for the team. It's not just me now, it's everybody.
Okay, for the team.
Old team.
It's mostly it.
No, it's not.
And speaking of the team, a colossal thank you to Overhead Games for sponsoring tonight's show. Go to overheadgames.com to find some great support for your games. And of course, join us right here for some great prizes from them this month. They are the creative team behind the Epic Character Generator, an excellent tool for anyone who wants to create realistic character avatars in no time at all. Simply choose what items that you want to show on your character, save them as an image on a preset or a transparent background, use it whatever way you like. Just go ahead, check them out at overheadgames.com.
And from Overhead Games tonight, we are giving away one of their words are hard. Epic Character Generators. We'll be holding a raffle later on in the episode. Keep an eye out. And will last until probably near the very end. Details on how to enter when we hit the break. The contest is limited to those in the U.S. and Canada, except Quebec, because I have no idea what they did. But whatever they did, they did it. All right. Cast and crew of the Games Tavern are also not eligible, so please restrain yourselves.
Yeah. All you people want to taking their good hard-earned winnings.
Let's get on with the show. When last we left the Velkyn Weave, they had defended successfully the city of Brindol. They fought wave after wave of a combination of hobgoblins, dragonkind, fiend-fueled armies of the Red Hand, which was eventually smashed by their might. In a final and epic stand, Wormlord Karn faced down the Velkyn Weave, accompanied by his giant battalion. With that said, they turned out to be no match for the Velkyn Weave as they went toe-to-toe in a colossal battle, which saw many of the Velkyn Weave remain victorious. However, due to an oversight, the dreaded slinker Scarther, the assassin of the Red Hand, whose presence was known, fired a potentially fateful wound on Renian. Before we get too deep into the adventure tonight, and also we left ominously with a airship approaching Brindol, being captained by a certain cloud giant whose eye and hand look different than the last time the Velkyn Weave encountered her. We all have an opportunity to earn a point of inspiration tonight, and by performing a monologue prompt, which is what we like to do to get an insight into our characters' thoughts and feelings. The prompt tonight is the greatest evil you could think of. So we're going to go around our players, and let's go ahead and go Quentin, Eldon, Bope, Doliris, Renian.
You know, I've seen good people do bad things and bad people do good things, but the greatest evil I can think of is people who just stand by the sidelines and don't commit to anything, just letting the world happen around them. Non-action. That's the greatest evil.
Greatest evil I can imagine is anyone that would subjugate or enslave another folk to them against their will. Taking away another person's ability to do anything on their own. That's evil.
The greatest evil that I can imagine is that shadow that grows hidden behind the strongest bonds of love, slowly growing, unseen, insinuating itself insidiously between those before it breaks them apart, destroying them, destroying families, destroying friendships.
The greatest evil I can think of is an evil which propagates itself by co-opting the good deeds of others.
So, the greatest evil I have are those that don't hold faith in themselves and in what they stand for. Those that change on the wind. That is the insidious evil within us all. The easy road, perhaps. That you have to make that decision. Do you take it or do you follow your true path?
Everyone gets their point of inspiration. I was hoping Bope would say, greatest evil.
Right
Big fan
here.
of this campaign. Don't see any dragons contesting me. They all died.
Those
Hey!
rugged good looks. Hey.
Yes. All right. So, we are in a bit of a sticky situation since Kai and Tony is in chat, a thorny issue, if you will, where we're going to need to roll initiative. And initiative plays two parts. And what we're going to describe is I don't want necessarily everyone rolling initiative. I only want whoever the appointed party's medic to roll. I want Rinian to roll. The reason for this is there's very few amounts of actions that can happen in the initiative order. So I'd like the party to appoint a medic because of the effect of the Great Sword of Wounding. There is a rot that is taking place inside Rinian's body that occurs every round. However, there is a chance to stop the rot, which requires some medical treatment, non-magical medical treatment, just a straight up use of the kit, which we have access to, certainly. Rinian needs to roll initiative to see if he has a chance to reconstitute himself before the rot would do damage. Likewise, the medic a chance to make sure no rot happens at all. So, who from the Velkyn Weave is going to act as medic? And then Rinian, you can straight up roll.
Initiative.
Initiative, just so we can get some fair and balanced order of operations and timing.
Fair.
I think my experience with large animal veterinary practices on the ranch
You
actually
could deliver that, baby.
put me in a good place for the medicine check.
Hell with
Compared to
vouchers.
you, Renian is a large animal.
And if you need it, I've got a healing kit at hand. If that helps you at all.
Velociraptor weeps. No.
Well, not an auspicious initiative roll, but 8.
3.
Well, at least you're going after Eldon.
Still my little halfling heart.
So the rot's going to take hold first. So, Rinian, it counts as a failed death save. It can't kill you below your, essentially auto kill you. So you're going to fail a death save at the start of initiative then it will be Eldon's turn. Eldon, if you fail to stop the rot, he will receive another failed death save at the start of the round, which causes things to escalate.
All right.
Down.
So he's down, rot. Okay, I'm like dropping my staff and just running.
The inky blackness is
Hell.
Staff of the Adder, bonus action, finish him off, heel turn. No.
I didn't see that coming.
Hulk Hogan through the leg drop. No, Macho Man.
Bo points at
He's
the
got
inky
the
blackness.
chair.
I'm not doing that. That's not me.
Yeah, like throw my hat off, dig something out, and like I've got bandages in there or something. You didn't even know it. That's right. And I'm going to use a point of inspiration for my medicine check to take advantage.
All right, so that'll give you advantage. DC 15.
25.
D&D Beyond. Woo!
Now, Renyon, a straight D20 roll, no modifiers, no advantage. Now, it's the wait to see success versus failures, with one failure already on the book from the rot.
Three.
Oh,
2 fails. All right. There's no chance for the rot to spread. It's important to note here, too, if you don't make it, I'm going to allow you to play the dead man's hand. Essentially, you can reveal your final wishes for whether you want to be brought back. You're going to have an out-of-body experience for a moment as Renyon to declare your intentions. But with that said, there's still a chance you might pull through.
Could I stabilize him?
He's essentially, here's the way this works. He can only recover the hit points through rest, right?
Right.
And the only way he can get rest is by making his death saves. That's essentially the way this specific one works.
Okay.
So no magic or other means can stop it.
Is pure will to survive.
That's essentially, it comes down to the luck. That's the sort of the weird nature of this interaction. In fact, there's some that argue that you cannot rest while unconscious from falling unconscious, to where you would remain unconscious as a vegetable for the rest of your days. With that said, we're not playing it that way.
We're not playing it that way.
Yeah.
We're not going to do it that way.
Yeah, it came up. I was checking on the forums. They're like, well, actually, you technically can't rest while unconscious. You go down, you're down.
That's a little bit silly.
I miss the old where you were dying when you were down.
is Sarvith kind of worming around on his back? Like, hey, what's going on up there?
Sarvith is weeping on his stomach.
He's crawled out.
Yes, he's crawled out from underneath. He's listening for her heart. He's like, I don't hear it. Renyon, make another death save.
Button.
What?
16.
So that's a success. 2 successes, or 1 success and 2 failures. Is there anything any member of the Velkyn Weave says at this point? Any feigned death spells or any...
Ew.
But don't let him die.
If magical healing doesn't work, then can I stabilize him with Spare the Dying?
So let's read the interaction. So we'll look at this. Let's describe the effects of Spare the Dying.
You touch a living creature that has 0 hit points. The creature becomes stable. The spell has no effect on undead or constructs.
Well, there you go. He's undead. Doesn't work.
No, I'm a construct.
We knew it. You were too perfect.
So let's see.
As soon as I die, I basically mold into mulch and mud.
Vines, detritus.
Don't say that. We're not there yet.
When I type Sword of Wounding into my browser, you can see like 20 different articles I was reading where this interaction came up. So let's sort of wounding it.
I like how Spare the Dying is a necromancy school.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I know what I'm going to do.
So are most of the resurrection spells.
I'm
a
wearing
reverse
my.
necromancer. I just go around killing people.
Well, hang on. Let's see if the Spare the Dying thing works first.
All right. So, all right. So the problem is we can rule that it stops him from dying. The problem is that whole hit point thing.
It doesn't give him back hit points. It just
Right.
stops him from dying, which means he can still rest.
Fair.
As long as he doesn't trip and take
We'll say that he's not dying. He's not unconscious. He's at 0 HP, and he will regain that HP. So I'm going to call that a pimp play. But before that happens, I want Renyan to make one last death save.
I was already doing it. I was gonna do it anyways.
I know you like the drama, and I do too.
I can't even look. I can't look.
Come back as Renyan the White.
Nope. 5.
Oh! So here's what happens. Delirious rushes, slaps Sarvith out of the way. He goes rolling. He's got no legs. And then he doesn't roll, and she doesn't slap him. You go to place your hand to spare the dying. You pronounce the blessing in the name of Timora, your goddess, who is late to the call, and Renyan breathes his final breath. Now,
Dun, dun.
Bring him back, God damn it.
Bope, at the speaking of Timora's name, you feel a pain in your heart and your soul as the weight of a falsehood weighs upon you.
What?
I was waiting for my chance to speak.
We'll get to that. By all means, Bope, speak before we cut to Renyan playing the dead man's hand.
As Renyan's life seemed to be leaving him, Bope would shamble up to him, and just seeing the desperation in Eldon and Delirious's eyes as they're trying to keep him back, I just put a hand on his shoulder and lean down very close and just say, I'm sorry, Renyan. I'm sorry that I lied to you. May you have many, many days with the true Sylvanus.
You hear as Renyan's passing to the other side, the location he's in is very different than the dream he had. It's far more glorious and splendid. And the voice of the deity sounds quite different in timbre and characteristic tonal quality. And yes.
Son of a bitch!
You did not.
Bope!
Drama.
I was waiting for Josh to ask me what spells I took, but he never did.
Bope! Better hope I don't find out about this.
Renyan, dead man's hand. What do you want to happen to your character? Do you want them to have a chance to revive you, resurrect you, raise you, or do you want to pass on and be remembered as the hero of Brindol? If you pass on, they are building a shrine in your honor here in the city, and you will be remembered. And they are going to pledge themselves to Sylvanus. There's going to be a sect that goes to tend to a grove nearby. And Wrath's Keep will be renamed to Renyan's Keep, assuming that the distinct and legal owner agrees, as they motion to Quentin. However, if you want them to bring you back, they can bring you back.
So, I, as always, in all things, when I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, I love randomness. So I'm going to go with a die roll, because that's how I like to play.
I love it too.
You're killing me.
There's
Can I
actually
try-
there's actually going to be multiple options.
Oh boy.
So first, on a 6, request true resurrection.
Okay.
On a
Reincarnate, Josh. We get it.
3, 4, 5, regular resurrection. And then on a 1 or 2, true death.
Wow.
Oh,
Stakes.
Chef, you're amazing.
Can you show us the die? Can we just? Oh, too late. No.
What is it?
No.
Is it a 1?
Is
It's
it
a
a
1.
6? Oh.
Oh,
It's a 1. It was a 1. It was
He's
good.
pushing up daisies.
Oh.
I
It's one of those
appreciate it all, but my journey has come to an end. My light, it fades from this world, and you must now carry the torch. You must be the light in this world. Do not let the darkness smother. Do not let hope fade. Fuck you,
you
Bo.
hear Rinian.
Fuck you, Bo.
And with that, Rinian, the stalwart paladin who did a total of 14,876 points of damage the past 5 sessions, passes on from the Velkyn Weave. That's sad. Before we move on, let's have each party member go around and give a memory of Rinian, who just stood in the face of a horde of 15,000, who went bell to bell with dragons toe to toe, who was deemed worthy to be sentinel of the Star Elves and was given their sacred object, their ceremonial weapon, who was garbed in the belt of giants and stood toe to toe with them, sucking their souls out righteously. So let's go Quentin, Doliris, Eldon, then Bope the Deceiver. I know that's a little below the belt, but
It's actually
No.
pretty accurate. Yeah.
yeah.
I kneel down next to him and launch into a story about the time that I loaned him 2,000 gold and I didn't ask for it back, and how he was just the best of us. I mean, it hurt me financially, but it was worth it because he's such a good guy.
Who's the deceiver now?
Yeah. I don't even have 2,000 gold.
It's always
I
been
mean,
Quentin.
I pretended to be his god, so
And then he bought a bunch of trees and redid the Reaching Forest. It was amazing. I'll never forget it. Would you like me to roll deception?
You fail. No. You don't fail.
It's a 30 on my attempt to deceive.
Every priest of Palor removes their hat as Quentin speaks. Tears form in their eyes. All right.
He was the best of us.
So I don't actually say anything. I've got my hand on Renian right where it was when I failed to save him. And I just rock back, slump, and then just cover my face and start crying. Because what I'm thinking of is that fight in the Kobold Caves where the Shambling Mound downed Renian. And I had the choice to withdraw or grab him and take him with me. And I considered leaving him and saving myself. But I took him with me. And I was dragging him But this time I wanted to do the right thing, but there was nothing I could do. I failed.
At that moment, Doliris, you kind of feel a worn presence wrap itself around you as the carpet's just kind of like trying to comfort you. Nimble the flying carpet.
Does he wipe away a tear with his tassel?
Yeah, with his little tassel, he starts wiping away your tears. You also feel that on your left shoulder, the hand of Deet, and on your right shoulder, the hand of Tobias.
Rinian was the most impressive warrior I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Just in the last couple of days, I've seen him do things that I thought were even beyond him until he went out there and did it. Look, death in the eye, spat in its face, go toe to toe with half a dozen creatures 3 times his size at once, and not even blink an eye. That's a man with powerful confidence in his cause. He believes what he's doing is right and righteous. And he's shown us over and over again that he thought each of us were worth risking that for at the same time. Protected us, looked out for us, despite any and all actions any of us may have done. He was there by our side every single step of the way. Never once even toyed with the idea of leaving any of us behind. Anyone here should be lucky to end up being half the man he was.
Hope would just sit. Some of the wrinkles starting to almost show through his gorgeous, just perfect visage, and stare hollowly, wanting to cry, but just feeling cold and dead inside. And I remember when we were in the Feywild, and we were all taken at some point by all the fantastical things we've never seen before, all the deceptions, all of the tricks and wild fun and crickets, but he never strayed from the course. He always kept us on task. He was never deceived by the wiles of the Fae. That's what I'll remember about him. He was always laser focused on his purpose, his sense of purpose. He wouldn't even let me turn him invisible because he wanted to stare evil in the eye before he struck them. I've never quite met a man like that before.
Oh dear.
That the Star Singer elves who had been defending the city come out. There seems to be some dispute as to what to do with the body. They would like to build the shrine themselves, since they view him as their great champion, the one that they garbed for combat. However, they certainly want to hear from the Velkyn Weave. There's also some other disputes in the city where the Lion Guard are trying to lay claim that they
No, they don't get him.
an Order of Rinian. There's even some dissension as they say that a certain individual garbed in black armor is trying to get into the city. I don't believe it. And then, so what does the Velkyn Weave say? The elves would like to inter the body.
I'm in favor of that.
I mean, we can hold on to it to make sure that nothing happens to it.
Rinian would want to be buried in the forest. With all due respect to the Star Singer elves, I don't think his final resting place should be in your home.
They nod, and then there's a voice that say, "We'll certainly make your decision known to Lord Jarmath." Then you hear a voice say, "A little bit of a problem with that." As Emerstall the Red is shouting from the front of the temple, and he looks really concerned. His eyes are wide. Then he goes back into the temple. Renyon, in the meanwhile, I mean, he's got no legs, but you can.
Oh, Sarvith.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the healthy Sarvath stat block from one version. This is a slightly different version than the one you combated, but if you want to tag along as Sarvith, Velociraptor will certainly let him ride.
With my
Give yourself a Velociraptor mount, so the Velociraptor stat block with Sarvith, just for now, if you'd like. And if you want, you can be working on another character to introduce at a time of your choosing. How's everyone doing? Let's do a check-in, just because that's some heavy stuff.
That was rough. I did not see that coming.
with my sorry, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say. I mean, you threatened. I still thought we'd be able to pull it off in the end.
Yeah.
In the end, I wanted to give consent back to the players and say, if you don't make it, you can come back. And ultimately, when there's a player death, particularly in a streamed game, I ultimately like to defer to the player that has it. And Jeff rolled some dice, which that's embodies a lot of why I like playing with Jeff. It's like, let's chance and see what happens.
I think
Alan,
tomorrow would approve.
My dice have been very bad today. Let's see. I rolled a 2, a 3, a 16, and a 5 and a 1.
Oh man.
The first were on D20s, the last on a D6. So
Used up all those D20s last game.
So
Ain't that
I placed Sarvith, one of the stat blocks for him. I actually think this Sarvith is better than the other one that I had you fight. Maybe I should have used him. When I got ganked so bad.
what was the Sarvith voice again?
My liege. He's kind of like
My
Starscream at
liege.
this point. Ah, yes, my liege. It's one of those things, and it's almost like Renyon's not Batman. There's no mask. He's going to put on the mask. Anyone can wear the mask. He was a ranger.
I'm Renyon.
I think it's the cloak. It's the cloak that makes the Renyon.
When the Star Song elves ask about building a place, I say a single place is too small for him. He belongs to the forests. And while that's going on,
You're gonna have him drawn and quartered. And
Whoa!
I mean, there's
placed on the bridge, Stone Gorge Bridge. Sorry.
you went there, but while I'm saying that and talking to them, I'm launching my telekinetically enhanced arcane trickster hand, which is invisible, and I would like to rifle his body for the ring of free action and the Eon Stone of protection. Make sure they
There
don't
it is.
disappear.
There it is.
Yes.
You guys are hating on Bope.
We'll get you in the ring of the
well,
stone.
Look,
We expected this from him.
Look, we've
No.
been hating on Quentin since session 1.
Yeah,
Deservedly.
On Bopes have been a lot more recent.
Yeah, Quentin is the rogue we deserve. You're the wizard we. No, I'm gonna stop.
I mean,
That's
there
all
appears to be shouting in the temple at this point. There are
Gotta-
piercing screams, a
Jarmath.
familiar piercing scream. You've heard her cry multiple times during the course of the battle.
Let's go take care of whatever this is.
Yep. I, grab my staff, and head towards the temple.
All right.
There's Jarmath was injured by the assassin. That's right. Oh,
I've
Jesus.
dropped the Lord Jarmoth disguise self, and
Okay.
I'm looking like my normal self without a dragon mask right now.
You were Jarmath. Yeah, you were probably being celebrated. Everyone there was like trying to get your autograph. Your forgery's so good. You were signing it.
As we're running in the crowd, I drop it and go into somebody else.
Okay. Inside the temple, grim tidings. Lord Jarmath has fallen. And Lady Call is there, and Captain Manspread's pointing at her accusingly, and she's kind of like, Who, me? Who, me? She does the same kind of shrug Quentin would do if he was like, me?
Oh, she's guilty.
They were in cahoots together. One mage hand was rifling through Radiant's body. The other one was pulling the cord on Lord Jarmath. We need a new leader. How about that Quentin? Yes, Lord Quentin. And then anointed next day. No, doesn't happen like that. Yeah, but essentially, Emmerstall the wizard's trying to break this up as Jarmath has fallen suspiciously.
So he's dead?
What
Dead,
happened?
dead.
We brought him back, stabilized him.
Who was with him?
They kind of point. There are 4 priests. They're there. The Archabbess is there. Tremora. She came in recently. Captain Lars was there. And Lady Call was there. They are essentially the main folks that were here.
Is this the murder mystery segment of today's adventure?
Clue.
Essentially, yes. And Emmerstall was there in some capacity.
Okay, first of all, everybody calm down. We can bring him back.
You totally prepared Zone of Truth, right?
Helm of Telepathy activate.
I mean,
There appears to be some complications.
But Renyon
Such
did. Oh,
as?
never mind.
You see one pull out a diamond, place her hand, cast Revivify. The diamond's consumed.
And nothing
Snap,
happens.
snap. Nothing happens.
Of course.
Ooh, that's not good.
Is that actually his body?
How would we find out?
I mean,
Turned it
we
both.
we brought the body here. I mean,
You're give it an insight.
Mr. Quentin.
Oh, insight it is. What do I think about this? A 19.
It's very clearly his body. And Quentin, your guess is there was internal damage that was done to him.
Did he drop out of the
Strange.
telepathic bond when he went unconscious? Or was there okay.
That's what cut him off. He lost the ability to talk.
And he'd been shot by an arrow, the same one that hit Renyon by Scarther?
He was shot by one of those arrows.
Well, damn. I mean, does the body look like it's been injured again beyond that initial arrow strike? I guess is
Quentin can
Like the
tell
medicine.
something got his inside.
something.
If Eldon takes a look, you can tell you're skilled in medicine.
Yeah,
Through
plus
that.
8.
You're guessing that there was probably a brain aneurysm or some sort.
Bloodshot eye?
Jeez.
Magic can't solve that?
Can
Depends
detect
on how much
magic
time
like
has passed.
can
Oh,
detect magic
Revivify.
like sense remnants of the spell?
Revivify.
Only
What's
works.
that?
I was gonna say Revivify only works within a minute.
Yeah, I have
So-
a better spell than that.
Who here is watching it?
The priestesses raise their hands.
All right, I'll take the first one and drop my telepathy on. Tell me what you saw. When did you notice that he had passed? Use your words.
She says he looked fine, and then in an instant he turned ghastly, almost as if his face had been a false one.
What do you mean he turned ghastly?
Well, she told that to Quentin. I'll describe it to you, though, as party members and players. Her intention that she's trying to describe, he looked like he was going to make it, and he had been stabilized, and she believes he was stable. Then he had received damage, but someone had covered it up with something. Someone was deceiving them. He was actually worse off than he was.
Maybe some type of illusion, like a disguised self dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Disguise other.
Hmm.
That's what I would do in a situation like this. Surrounded by clerics, make it so they don't know that he needs to be healed.
Yeah, and they were doing pretty good. They were chanting, they were praying. He looked stable. They had lion guard at the gate. No one had snuck in. There would have to be, traitors among them.
If we have time, I'll ask the other ones kind of the same thing as 10 steps back and see if what they're saying.
Yeah, their stories line up. They all were watching him, and then suddenly it changed when Tredora came in. That's when it happened. It happened as she got close to him, but her reaction was someone who was caught completely by surprise when it did.
Were all these
could
other
be
folks
framing her.
Were all these other folks present when it occurred too? Captain, Lady Call,
Manspread, and
Red.
Immerstall the Red
Immerstall.
were all there.
When it happened already, or they didn't arrive after. They were there. So Lady Tredora, is that right? The priestess?
Tredora's technically her name. I've been calling her Tremora.
Oh, okay.
Trimora.
Tredora was the last one in.
Last one in.
I telepathically tell Bo, can you start casting Detect Magic? I think some spell triggered when she came in.
Sure.
See if
I
there's
just
any
give him a
lingering magic.
little nod and go over to the corner and start casting Detect Magic.
Not only do you cast it, but from your book, a little mouth forms on the pages. It goes, it's very clearly a psychic mind attack. It's one of those things where they poisoned his brain, and it was so delicious the way he died. And, a little serpent tongue comes out of the book, flicks around, it's got a little snake head.
Stop it.
Gross
Ugh.
open book.
I probably didn't see that because I'm going to go talk to Manspread and Lady Call.
All right, you see they're fighting each other. Go ahead and make an insight so you can kind of...
Sure. 21. Hell yeah.
You've seen fights, and you've seen real arguments. You are a member of the Velkyn Weave. This is what you would call play fighting. This is not a real argument. It is clearly staged.
So they just look like they're giving each other shit.
Absolutely, and that they don't trust each other.
They're just taking the piss. Oh, fantastic. I'm going to listen to this for a second. I'm not going to say anything out loud to them.
Your guess, too, is that Immerstall is playing as the smart Mark. No, peace between you. He's in on it as well. All three of them.
Okay. All right. How about? Okay, I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna gesture to Quentin, come down here. I need to speak to you.
I switch over to telepathy with you so we can talk quietly.
And I'm gonna tell him that I just went and listened to the biggest bunch of bullshit I ever heard. I think they're all in on it. I don't think the crying one's faking it, but the other three are playing it pretty theatrically.
So perfect opportunity. You want me to deep dive into one of their minds? Although there is risk, but we can always blame it on the Red Hand.
Start with the dumb one.
Captain Lars?
Can
do. All right.
I'll go tell Delirious the same thing while Bope is doing his magic stuff.
And while we were telepathically chatting, I was saying some kind words about Renyon.
It's great. Their lord dies. It's like, you know who didn't stink? Renyon. Like, everyone gives a knowing nod, then goes back to the drama of the day.
I turned my attention to Captain
His name was
Lars.
Renyon Paulson. Everyone holds hands.
Jesus.
I
I haven't heard
Kobold
a Fight
Fight
Club
Club.
reference in a while.
Yeah. Okay, you're poking at Lars.
Yes.
You hear a voice in your brain. What you doing? It's Immerstall.
Was he one of the three?
Yes.
And he's the
He's the
accomplished
wizard.
magic caster.
Yeah.
Start with the dumb one.
What's up?
He knows what
Emerald?
you're doing. He hasn't decided what he wants to do. He's just like, hey, what are you poking at his brain?
So what's it worth to you to not have your little assassination be made public?
Well, you make it public, the whole city's gonna collapse, my dude. Cut us some slack. All of us hated him.
You know, I think you're talking to the wrong guy. The one who gave a shit is dead. You're talking to Quentin.
You should understand then. Do you know what it was like living under Jarmath's rule?
No, enlighten me. We only got here a couple hours ago. A couple days ago.
So, it sucked. It sucked. It was awful. All night long, he'd make me juggle teacups with tea in them. He was a tyrant. He was not a good listener. He overly taxed the people. He didn't allow freedom of religion. There's no shrines or Timor in town. He was a bit of a douche. And he was very disrespectful to Lady Call, who really should be running the town. Now, she didn't act because she didn't want any foul play. When opportunity presented itself, myself, Manspread, and Call moved into action. She's not too wise to it, though. She told us not to. You all had won over her trust. But we figured, rather than have bull-headed leaders who wanted to march their entire army right into the Red Hand to die,
Yeah, that was stupid.
this was the
Manspread's
most
idea.
opportune moment. Not to mention he did get shot by the arrow.
That was Manspread's idea. I didn't think that was the Lord Jarmath's. Was it?
It was the both of them.
He wasn't saying no.
You're right. You're right. That's right.
Not to mention that little romance has cost us so much.
Okay, so what next? Who's the new leader going to be? Or is it going to be some type of...
We're
Tree
worried. Now, the natural move would be to place Lady Call in charge. But we figure we would hold a formal meeting, we would gather a council, we might orchestrate a vote or two, and then see if there's any inclinations in the meanwhile about if anyone else should rule. But
I mean, that's all good to think of the future, but I think we still need to survive the next week here.
yeah, and I
There's
don't
just
know
an
if you
awkward
saw.
silence while they're all talking in their heads.
So that's
First
going
on
on.
Quentin, it's like they're slowly getting closer and closer, man. Their heads spinning.
And I'm just throwing out like stupid conversation about the city. Like, oh, that's an interesting market over there.
Yeah, it was
Just
a
kind of a
lot
non-
nicer back when we had the people. Now all the people are up in Dinovar. Remember, the people are going to take a while to move back here.
That's true. I'm looking forward to Wrath Keep after all this is done.
I'm like
So-
talking to Delirious about what I think's going on, like trying to be quiet about it. Like, Delirious, we got to talk about this. While Quentin is discussing all of this with the wizard.
All right, go kibitz. I need to talk with my people and stay the hell
I'm-
out of my head.
I'm having a hard time like caring about power struggles in this city right now. It has absolutely no bearing on Renyon having just died. And I don't live here. I don't plan to live here. As long as a, horrible evil tyrant isn't taking over, I don't really give a shit.
Still seems shitty though, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
but it's
so-
also not my problem.
It's springtime in, or it's it's fall and Brindle. That's when you do the pruning to make sure that you don't damage the entire tree.
Why don't we give him the potion of autumn?
We're not giving
that?
the potion of autumn to
Who says this?
The voice in his head. I don't know.
Who even has the potion?
Quentin, probably.
Probably
I'm sure he
Quentin.
took all your valuable things, which is fine.
Well, they're the artifacts, the legend of Rainian. I can't just let them go into anybody's hands.
They have to be replicated and sold.
I figure,
For lots of
Merchandising.
I figure we,
Merchandising.
This is the legit Iron Stone of Renyan.
Ooh,
These are his 4 fingers.
ooh.
I figure we probably put him in the portable hole for the time being to make sure that he doesn't get looted in the streets. You know.
Sorry,
What if I
Rainier
confuse
the
him
elves
for
carried
one of
his
my
body.
eclipses?
I've got an interesting one. What happens to the hammer?
Sure, it's the
Oh,
elves.
the elves are taking it back. One, you've got to be worthy.
How?
Yeah.
What?
How are they moving it?
Well, I mean, it's not Mjolnir.
Remember how it was delivered to you?
Yeah.
She's the one that has it.
That's right.
Stellaria, or one of them elf girls. One of them elf girls. Actually, yeah, I could see. Not Tayani. Trelara. Trelara Night Shadow was her name.
Trilara is the one that's in with Jarmoth, right? Crying over him.
No,
No,
Tredora.
that's Tredora.
Tredora, sorry.
Trelara was an elf who wanted Rinian to be their champion, for he had proved himself worthy, and gave him the belt and the gauntlets.
Lady Shadora, there is one thing we haven't tried yet, and I pull out the Acorn Adorned potion of autumn. It's possible, it's rumored that it could bring somebody who's worthy back.
She sees it. She goes, "Shall we administer it now?"
I think that's should be done by you, and I hand it to her.
All right. Here's how the potion of autumn's going to work. We're going to go around all the Velkyn Weave. You're all going to describe one effect that happens, and it actually happens. No matter how it lands, she could bring him back.
This is too much power.
Yes. And
I mean,
uh,
we've had it on a pedestal for almost a year, right?
Yes.
Something
yes. So this is the potion of autumn. She corks it and she goes, "Oh, save my baby!" And she pours it down and just splashes on his eyes, down his face, starts to fill his wounds. And then the following happens. Jeff, why don't you tell us the first thing that happens? If you need me to roll on a table, I'll get a table and roll on it.
No, not quite that.
Everyone gets 1,000,000 experience points. 1,000,000 experience points. It has to happen to him, though.
As long as-
He can get 1,000,000 experience points too.
So
Life experience. He just gets older and dies.
going
points don't
back
matter.
going back to the original intention of that potion as described when Rinian identified it. I think it would only be appropriate if he is now half Fey.
Oh, yes. Half the Fae he used to be. Yeah, so like it pours on him and like his features begin to change. He's still deceased, but he has the appearance of one who is of the Fey Wild, keen folk, if you will. So he gets a bulbous gnome nose, and that's it. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, he begins to like his eyebrows begin to grow out like grass, and his ears kind of branch out like leaves. Kind of like the dryads that you met all those adventures ago. Your dryad friends.
There's a whole new UA book too.
Yes. In fact, there's a whole new campaign setting based on Fae and Fairy Tales, like Grimworld by Grant Ellis.
Ooh.
But also,
Ooh.
you can make
have to check that out.
Yeah.
Who is this mysterious genius making?
Hashtag not sponsored. All right, so Doliris, you get to go next.
Okay, so we have half Fae. Do I want to be mean?
You can do whatever you want. He's currently dead.
I'm gonna laugh when no one actually raises him.
which is also funny because this is their political scrambles. It's like one of these idiots were going to off him while Tredora was out.
I'm gonna be mean.
Turns into a whale.
Doliris is all out of fucking.
He's half Fey whale, half Fey, half whale.
He's the first Fey whale.
He's a fail.
He has to end every sentence he speaks with wibble wibble.
Wibble wibble. Right now he's dead. He's like, yeah, so I was betrayed by my court, wibble wibble. I wasn't really church going, man, so I don't know who my god is, wibble wibble. But my girlfriend went to Paylor. They're like, your girlfriend? Wibble wibble.
Wow.
Bope. The bone's
So-
like, do it, you know you want to. A thrall for all of your days.
A swarm of pixies come out of nowhere and just gently lift his corpse so that it's floating at all times. His clothes disappear and turn into a sash of crinkled autumn leaves and a kilt of autumn leaves.
He's clad only in a kilt, you say.
And
Of
sash.
autumn
And
leaves.
sash. It's
A
covering,
leaf
the,
sash and kilt.
it's covering the nipples. We're Twitch appropriate.
We're Twitch appropriate. However,
the only
his
thing that
grammaticals are
is.
visible to all.
Wibble.
Wibble, wibble. Yeah, I feel the breeze. Wibble wibble. Ugh.
Like
All the
just-
days ago, commando. Wibble wibble.
But you know, like
Um,
15 minutes ago, we were mourning our dead friend. Okay, it's wibble wibble.
Wibble wibble. Hey, where'd that paladin go? Wibble wibble. Want to thank him
Oh my god.
for the elves? Eh? Well, I'll fit right in. Wibble wibble. All right, Eldon.
Okay, I'm gonna be the responsible one.
Much as it hurts.
Actually raise him.
I mean, you can't leave it for Quentin.
I can't because it's
Quentin's like, and he spontaneously combusts.
like
The leaves will catch fire.
I didn't hear the whole conversation with Emerstall the Red, but I think even if Eldon had heard that, he'd have still felt like this is pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just like that is, you know what? No, I don't. Y'all figure out your own problems like the adult. Okay, maybe this is the adult way. A good way, not this shitty way. So
Like a good aligned adults.
yeah. I'm gonna say, how old do we think Jarmath was? Like based on how we met him
He was
before.
funny. They tell us in the book he's 35, but they describe him as looking very old. They go, he's ancient at 35, covered in wrinkles and withered away like an old catcher's mitt. And I'm like, he's 35.
Yeah, I'm-
Also, ow.
Rode hard.
There's
That
a lot of
hurts.
people. There's a lot of people hurting
It
in this
does.
chat right
I'm
now.
older than that.
I
And I'm
mean-
like,
I mean,
"Oh."
if you take this 35 and compare it to some of the other 35s, yeah.
Whoa!
Oh.
Shots fired. I don't know at who.
Hit down fives, a 10 is speaking. So
I was making everyone else. I was making everyone else feel much better about their age because look, you can see how bad I look. Obviously,
I can't go deep
Renian.
like that.
Oh,
What? That was a compliment.
yeah. But she
I
said a
can't
dead
grow
man's
facial
name.
hair. Oh.
he's not Renian anymore.
Oh.
Oh. So the potion of autumn restores him to the autumn age of his life, I guess. So not the end of his life, but where he's gotten some age and experience. I would let you judge as far as their life expectancy around here what that may be, but you know, age and
He
experience.
has the age for the human. So here's what happens.
Could have
Like,
returned him to teenage.
you see his eyes open and he sits up and then gets like a horrible like C-spine bend from his years of bad posture in combat, and his hair just kind of grows long and bushy, and matted. And then he does get all the wrinkles that the book described, but this time he's earned them with wisdom. However, he's got that dad strength now. So
You have dad
he'll
bod?
knock you out, and infused in his fist is wisdom. So you're going to learn when he punches you.
Is that how that works?
That's how it works. You go around as an older fellow like me. You hit a younger guy, and that's how he learns. He's got that one right hand that he throws. So yeah, and he just kind of sits up with like his new fey ears, and he's floating with pixies. He's got a kilt on now. He looks very Cro-Magnon, but also strangely hot.
It's the dad.
Wibble wibble. He says, he's like, I live, wibble wibble. What happened? Wibble wibble. Man spread, cow, and Emerstall's heads all turn like an owl. Like, whoo. Like, turns around with no shoulders. And they all just kind of, they're all going, Chador's like, he's hack? And like, wibble wibble.
Question mark.
I kind of want to look at the three of them over there, and then with my hat in front of me, just go.
Am I up?
Quentin.
You're up now, Quentin.
Okay.
Take us home. Monkey tail grows and he hangs upside down. Wibble,
So once the potion is dumped out completely and stuff, it's sitting there next to it. And when he picks it up, he looks at it and there's writing around the inside of the rim. Basically saying, whoever drinketh this potion, shall become the autumn night, and his service will be due for a millennia to the Fey market. And a portal starts opening up behind him, showing the hedge and thorns of the Fey market, and the sound of the market is emanating from the other side.
And then he just goes, duty calls, wibble wibble. And then Chador's like, my love. He goes, no, I'm not. And then he just kind of like backwards walks in. He left her because
He floats in.
he floats in. The pixies carry him. Yeah, just passes drop. And so ends the rule of Lord Jarmath, the 17th ruler of Brindol. Lady
Chadora, are you going to follow him?
You
No,
just broke up with her.
I'm sworn to the faith.
Kind of a weirdo now, if you ask me.
And then
You can do
Captain
better.
Manspread's like, and he's got a chicken leg again, like he did when you first met him. He goes, strangely hot. And with that,
Bo's
we
gonna
have
pick up
solved.
one of the leaves that fell off his sash as he was floating away. I'm just gonna pick it up. With,
I tell the red wizard telepathically, you're welcome.
He's like, well, in his stead, the steward should be, according to our laws, Lady Call. And she's like, do I have to move into this dump, or can I stay living in my manor? And they're like, you call. Besides, this is the temple, not the palace. She goes, oh yeah, this temple is a bit of a dump. Chadora looks offended.
Charming.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's a bunch of like wounded soldiers that have been in here, and it's just a mess. And the priestesses.
Yeah, there was a war. We fought a war out there. Of course.
Yeah.
There's a
She's-
dragon
she
corpse.
goes- Well, Lady Call points out too. She goes, "I know, I fought alongside you." And she does have like she has a cut. She goes, which none of them treated. I did my best though.
It really
like-
points out the strength of your jawline.
Is it like a
Thank
legitimate wound, or did she
Exercise.
scratch herself? Like,
It is a legitimate wound. She did fight for the city.
okay, it's a little better.
She's shifty, but she's not as shifty as the other two. They've been trying to get her to run the city for years. As you see, like it's one of those things where she was asleep and Captain Manspread, was like, quick, give her a cut. And then we'll a slight thin one, so it'll split open when she like brushes her hair or something. We'll fake the wound with a gig mark. But alas, yeah. So they're going to sort out their political differences. With that said, an airship is on the horizon, and it's now over the city.
I don't wanna.
We don't have our giant killer anymore.
We are boned.
Hey, we've got Sarvith, right?
On Velociraptor.
You
And
do.
the
You
red
have
Sarvith.
Sarvith on the Crimson
The red
Knight,
Sarvith.
they call him.
Jeff, that's you. Remember, you're Sarvith now.
Oh,
Or if you're working on the new character, do you want to be on the airship?
I don't know if I'm going to be done that quickly.
Yeah.
It takes me a little bit of time to.
A strangely
to build these
robed figure of an indeterminate height and build.
things.
A cocoon that will open and you will come out of the chrysalis
Chrysalis.
over time. Yes.
No pressure.
Well,
No
I
pressure.
still need 2 more quick votes. If you guys want to take that route.
Like me, Josh, Tom, and Michelle have all voted.
I think that's all who matters.
Why was
Oh,
I
no.
the first to have voted for Artificer?
What?
Oh, that updated really quick all of a sudden. Oh, and now it's a tie.
Which you know what ties mean? Random rolls.
Oh,
You have to roll the same die that killed you.
Odds artificer, evens fighter. Yeah. It is evens, so it is fighter.
They come. And so there is an airship above. It currently has a flag of truce. And Blanche Lafayette is sneaking into the temple. You can see she's trying to get out of the city at this point.
Was she sneaking out of or into the temple?
Into the temple. She's like, we got a bit of a problem out there.
what's going on?
It's her, isn't it?
There's more.
Yeah, the countess, only she's calling herself the queen now. Queen of the giants.
Queen of the Giants. Well,
Okay. Whoa,
Queen
no
of the
giants here.
giants.
Rennian would have
No
loved to see
giants
this
here.
airship.
Claiming domain over everyone here.
Well, where's Rennian? She says.
He could be here if you need him to be.
Stop it.
No. I draw the line here. Don't ask me why, but
We'll put a pin in that. Obviously, a lot's gone down. Still exercising, Bope?
Yeah. Fiddle's a fiddle.
Your horns look lovely.
Thank you. Ding.
And your
Yeah,
tongue
they
looks
actually
sharp.
look even cooler than they did. Your little serpent tongue. Now, if you want, you can conjure as a free action a little rattlesnake rattle on the end and shake it.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
It can either be a little forked serpent tongue or a little rattlesnake tail. You get the choice.
we're gonna have to talk about this someday.
nah, I don't like it.
Hey, your goddess told you to support me, so
And how would you know that?
this is Tom talking.
The countess, the queen of the giants, excuse me, is here and would like an audience with whoever is in charge.
Not it.
Come on, Lyris. We got to go talk to her. We actually know.
We're
her.
not in charge.
Council people of Brindol or countess. She is a power insane cloud giant, and
Yeah, she's bad news.
I think the red hand down to her cloud castle, but she's not good people, not at all.
Hmm.
Little bit of an extreme narcissist. I'm told.
Like, think of the most extreme narcissist you can think of and multiply it by 10.
They all look at where the portal was and it's gone. And then they turn and they all look at Blanche and she shrugs. And then
I'm looking at like Emerstall and like Captain Mansborough. Like, what? You wanted somebody else to be in charge.
well, we'll deal with this if we must. Is we have to go right now?
You don't want to keep this woman waiting.
Emerstall
I would
says,
still go with them.
Yeah, flattery.
Blanche kind of leans in and kind of looks at the group. This is like the first time she's really deferring to the Velkyn Weave. She's like, do I have to go?
Well, she
Yes.
doesn't like you, right?
Wait, I
She
forget.
hates
Do
So
we
maybe you
know
should
that
be
she
there.
has her love on a cage? or was that just for the
The
audience?
players do, but the characters don't.
Okay.
However, Blanche has a sneaking suspicion.
Has anyone tipped off the Ghost Lord about her predicament?
No.
No.
Talked
Just
about
saying.
it.
Just saying that
Talked
might not
about
be.
tipping him off, but we don't.
Yeah.
We as characters don't know about it yet. And there's this whole meta thing going on between our actual people.
Oh,
that
yeah,
we
yeah,
are
yeah.
and
I can do that. I
we're
have a
playing
third
right
level
now.
spell slot, and I have sending still learned. So
Well, hold
I
on to
could...
that because we haven't learned it yet to tell them about it.
No, yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm going to recast the non-detection. Use up one more of those scrolls because I don't need her.
You think she's after your stuff?
Hey,
She
can't
may
hurt.
have. She may have given up that route. I don't know.
Well, we did taunt her here, so
Who's we?
It's we stuff.
This is we stuff. Oh, it's
Nimbus
we
man.
now, huh? It's we
hey,
now.
I didn't
Okay.
send the sendings. Okay, you guys approved the plan of action.
No. These
Really?
Blanche feels guilty as well. She goes, "You sent some sendings. I cast the dreams."
Yeah, you should stay down here, but please don't leave.
I could not abandon you after all that you have been through.
I think I
this
actually
point-
believe her too. Okay.
That's unexpectedly sober sounding of you, Blanche.
I quit drinking, she says.
Did you?
Yeah.
So it must have been some other lookalike witch who was flying about on a broom and.
She didn't say
Down.
when.
She's like, "No, I quit an hour ago."
Okay.
Yeah, aren't you proud of me? You know, yeah.
Very.
And, yeah, she has been sober for an hour. So, and
Baby steps.
yes, currently,
Not a fan
Blanche
personally.
is she is loyal to the Velkyn Weave at this point. So, the airship hangs in the sky. On it, potentially a new enemy or ally of the Velkyn Weave. It's a little early, but because we're in a sticky situation, I think this would be a good time to make our mid-show break and have some announcements. Don't forget, you can ask characters questions by typing in question in all caps, followed by your question, which character it is directed to. We'll answer up to 3 questions. So let's go ahead and ask our questions in chat. And Josh, why don't you give us some of those Patreon announcements?
That's right. The Games Tavern Patreon is a great way to support the show and get useful perks and some awesome content back. So just go to patreon.com/thegamestavern, all one word, and get your hands on the amazing content. Some recognition to some of our regular Patreon supporters, Madith Productions, Michael B., and Christopher D. Thank you for your patronage and support.
And as a reminder, we are having the giveaway tonight. Probably seen it in chat already. Type !epic in Twitch chat to enter to win the epic character generator from Overhead Games.
Be right back in just a few short minutes. Damn, we're in a tight spot.
Go.
Hey, it's Reed from the Games Tavern Happy Hour. Take a look at some of these cool faces that you're going to see, because they're some of the people we've already interviewed, and we've got a whole lot more coming up. They're tabletop gaming stream, game developers, game designers, artists, and more. If they're in the tabletop space, we're probably going to talk to them at the interview table at some point. In addition to that, we also do tabletop game reviews, as well as accessory reviews, models, miniatures, unboxings, you name it. Plus, every week we provide you with the latest news and new releases in the tabletop gaming space. If it's involved with tabletop gaming, chances are we're going to cover it. You can see this every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/thegamestavern on Twitch. And also, you can check us out on YouTube just by searching YouTube for The Games Tavern. We'll see you next week at The Games Tavern.
Have you ever needed quality images of characters for your games or stories, but couldn't find the time or assets to create them? Epic Character Generator comes to your rescue with lots of features. After launching the program, you can select a base character to start working on. Just pick a wardrobe and begin customizing it. At any time, you can jump to the settings to turn other packs on and use their content on your character too. There are certain items which not always fit together nicely. You can use the toggle feature to decide whether these items should be on top or on the bottom. You can use the coloring tool to give your items a unique look. A few items can deform the base body in a minor way, and others can make huge changes. How about moving around some decorations in the background? Or even the whole character to find the perfect composition? You can save your character as a data file and load it back later to continue editing it. You can export your character as a PNG image with a background selected from the program, or choose a transparent one. You can use it later in any environment. So, have you crafted your first character already? Epic Character Generator, now available on Android.
Reverse Centaur.
Welcome back to the Velkyn Weave. We'd like to introduce you to Roger the Centaur, Jeff's new character. He has plane shifted from Ravnica, and he is searching for a way to restore his plumbing business. It's a wacky time on the Velkyn. No, none of that stuff. Read deep breaths. Just because we said it doesn't mean it actually happened. So we did have a question from chat, and the question is for myself, the Dungeon Master. Thank you. This is the first question I've received. What is considered old age in your world? I tend to take whatever Bope, Tom's character, is and cut it in half. That is old. I normally look at all the just sort of like standard ages, and then I really think old age. Aw, thank you, Tom. It's not quite a question; it's more of a comment, really. But I think it's less than a number. Age ain't nothing but a number, but more how you describe the characters and their actions and mannerisms. In fact, I don't really consider things old. I consider them antiquated or non-current, and it might be in behaviors or mannerisms that are expressed through the non-player characters. Since I don't really do voices, I have to use descriptive actions or mannerisms. I think the only voices I really do are Deet and Tobias, and that's because they are blessed children of Timora. With that said, back to the game. So the Velkyn Weave has a decision. You can go to the airship and you can bring one or all of the members of the council. Countess Sansuri has dropped they've sent a letter by Griffin.
Better than a hydrogen bomb.
Yes. And the Griffin is really funny because like it's like playing with like a deceased red hand soldier. It just kind of is like carrying it like a doll, kind of like a bird gets carried. Yeah, I know it's kind of a weird and inappropriate thing, but it just kind of has one because they have to take out some of the red hand on the way.
That's the airship, I suppose.
That's the airship. And the message says, "We know you're here. I'd like to speak with you as well as unbiased, impartial mediators."
What issue
letter-
needs mediating?
That's addressed to us as unbiased, impartial mediators.
I've never
Yes.
been called unbiased before.
She's totally got us pegged, let me tell you.
I'll take the case.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's what she is looking for.
Paperwork seems to be in order.
Griffins, you notice what looks like a prismatic staircase descend from the airship down. It sort of animates. It's rainbow in color, and it's
He's showing
quite
off
beautiful and magnificent.
Is effectively.
The book
who
is
from-
in the bag of holding.
Pope's in the bag of holding?
No, the book.
The book is in the bag
The
of
book
holding.
of Vile Darkness.
It's like, please do not leave me in here. I do not fear the hand that wrote me.
Just a moment. Can we just a moment?
Keep it down. Not together, man.
Keep it together.
You know, we should probably fly up and not use the staircase if that was being offered, because if I was her, I would just turn it off like 3 steps from the top.
That's a good point.
Emberstall's like, she's familiar that you can fly. She knows you have a carpet. Emberstall's like, which of us from the council should go?
That's up to you. She did
But-
ask to
Feel
speak
like-
to the city's leadership.
But
Feel
she is a
like-
little something of a spellcaster.
Call, you go. Emberstall's like, I don't do with wizards.
Like you three kind of deserve some time in the spotlight, don't you think?
Deep breaths. Manspread tosses his carefully tousled hair and wipes his brow. He goes, I'd very much like to see this giant.
That'll pass.
Captain Lars, their buffet of food, they have great, and Motion with my arms.
Seeds!
Grapes the
Who
size of your head.
stole the seeds? That's the whole reason. Right. So the council's going up the stairs. Immerstall, Lars, and Lady Cal.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe they all die up there, and then Tredora Goldheart becomes the new leader of Brindol. I don't want it anymore.
We had like a short rest equivalent since the end of conflict, and now
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. But since Jeff likes rolling, go ahead and roll a d6. Or higher, you get the equivalent of a short rest. 1, 2, 3, you don't. It's the Die of Fate from Burning Wheel.
Want me to roll? Or
Oh, Jeff's
Yeah,
rolling.
go right ahead.
It's a 5.
It's a 5. You have the equivalent of a short rest.
huzzah!
Who really needed a short rest?
My
I
spell
don't
slots
get any
recover
spell
on a short rest.
Mine don't.
Not here.
So, if the group would like, you could take the flying carpet up, and then, you could take the stairs. It doesn't matter. I just need to know if you're going up or if you're snubbing the Countess.
I think we walk. Keep the carpet at the ready.
Yeah.
He goes under the stairs in case they give out. It catches you. Huh.
Exactly.
Wouldn't expect any less from our good old Rug Nimble.
She
Yeah.
removes the
Yep.
top, and like in Aladdin, it forms stairs going up for the final 3. Carpet.
That's
So you ascend. It is a frightening deck in disarray. There are all kinds of beasties up there. She has orcs. She has what looks like elves. She has a couple of giants. She has a fire giant who is looking menacingly, wearing heavy plate armor. She carries a tall staff, and at the top of it there is what looks like a crystal lantern, and it appears to be a personage moving and peering around inside that lights the lantern. She doesn't have a tiny hand, but it is a smaller than average sized giant hand. And she looks with an eye that appears to see through your souls. She approaches, she says, "I am Queen Sansuri, goddess of heaven and earth. I have ascended." And
Your
then
Majesty.
this is Jon Snow, says Immerstall. No, it's one of those things where Immerstall's like, "This is Lady Cal. City's hers." She motions, and she'd like the Velkyn Weave to present themselves. "We are the Nimbus." No,
Do not.
Now's not the
Not.
time or the place. We are the Velkyn Weave. Believe we've met once before.
yeah, she came to my wedding.
Indeed.
Brought me gifts.
It was a lovely affair.
Sorry about the disturbance of the Red Hand attacking.
It looks as though there is a strange cannon mounted on the front of this airship, a weapon unlike which you have ever seen. It looks as if it's designed to focus immense power and designed to shoot things that may be in the sky. She kind of motioned over there when you mentioned the wedding gift. She says, "I am familiar with you, Velkyn Weave. We are kindreds in some ways." And you notice, like, all over the deck, strange writing. And they have, like, painted on, "The Nimbus lives. Fear the Nimbus." The Nimbus is feared not just in the south, but also the north.
That escalated.
they fought mightily against the Red Hand.
On 2 fronts.
Yeah.
I have a demand.
Gulp.
Yes.
I want their palace surrendered to me. I do not intend to rule the city. I intend to rule all giants.
But there are
They
no
can keep-
giants here.
There are forest giants.
There
They
are
don't live
forest-
here.
No, they don't. But does a king live with every commoner? Does an empress live with every millworm that mills about?
Well, no, but think about it. You'd have to resize the palace in order to live here, and I don't think that that's the kind of minutia you want to have to delegate.
I am prepared. We are bringing the stones. We will once again return to the clouds. But I demand their home for myself. I also demand a certain alliance, shall we say, with the likes of you.
Seems fair.
I'm listening.
Shut up, Bope.
Some of
can
us-
you? Sorry.
Some of us are the shapers of worlds. In order to shape the world, we need finely tuned instruments, and those that think for themselves and act for themselves. I very much would like to sponsor the Velkyn Weave on your endeavors. However, I also have my own agendas, and from time to time, I'd like to call upon you.
The Nimbus is the newest faction in Faerun.
What are you? Nimbus. I'm here with the Nimbus. Yeah, there was the Zentarum, there was the Nimbus. Tee hee ho har.
I thought they were all cloud giants.
And that's what she's saying. She's like, I'd like a deal. She goes, it's for them to give me a stake in the city. Less I
do believe
take aggressive in negotiations. They might have an army. We have ways of dealing with that, the same as you dealt with the other.
Do believe Lady Call expressed no desire to move into the palace in the first place.
Yeah.
She's there. She's like, quite. She goes, however, I would propose a compromise. We tether their abode to the land below. They rule the giants, but they do not rule the city, and they do not interfere with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Countess and Surrey
Fair points.
Queen.
reaches out. Yep. Yeah.
What about a week-long celebration in her honor? I mean, it only seems fair.
It's a celebration. No. She's like, every day's a holiday and every meal's a feast. And she sort of motions out. She goes, there is one other request. There is a fugitive among you. I want her delivered.
It's not me. It's not me.
I know who he's talking about.
Yeah, she snaps her fingers and snow falls from her hand, and then it forms the shape of a nice little ice sculpture of Blanche Lafayette, who kind of pirouettes about and dances very gracefully.
Really fancy. I
There
like
it
it.
is.
You got the nose just right.
Isn't she beautiful? And then she spits
Not as
fire,
beautiful
hits it,
as
and it just
you.
turns to water and splashes. Oh, you say that? And she's like, oh, you handsome devil. Love those horns.
Quite.
Not that wrong.
Well, I'm uncomfortable. Okay.
Yeah, she would like Blanche Lafayette to be hunted and delivered to her. Not necessarily by you, but if you see her, she expects you to follow through. That's entirely up to you if you do. It's not like I'm gonna be like, Countess Ansuri's cultists stab you in the back.
So she's to be declared an outlaw for everyone to know, far and wide.
Might I ask what crime she's committed? Queen Sansuri?
Tholen, bring out the list. You see crawling out the back. Tholen looks like he hasn't eaten in 2 weeks. He looks
brother?
exhausted. That's her brother.
Oh, no.
Oh, buddy.
He's like, crimes, theft, larceny, impersonating a priest, bad poetry, inadequate fashion sense, rhymes and limericks. He starts listing off a bunch of nonsense, petty things. Are any of you a rogue and speak thieves' cant?
I am. Those are capital offenses where I come from.
It sounds like Quentin's offenses already. Like,
if there is a rogue that speaks thieves' cant,
I do.
A lot of what's saying off are high crimes like assassinations, murders. Blanche was attempting to restore and protect the Ordning and keep giants in their hierarchy, which the Countess did not agree with, as well as, the stealing of certain things by means of the Ghost Princess. And she would very much like to bring Blanche to justice. However, not always possible. She is very elusive.
She does have a habit of just popping up and disappearing. Yes. Ma'am.
A perpetual thorn in our side as well.
You may refer to me as either Your Grace, Her Majesty, or Her Royal Highness. I prefer the sovereign in heaven and earth. Suzerain Domine Sansuri.
I can pronounce that last one, but...
The Regnant. These are all titles that are appropriate, she says with the utmost vanity.
Well, if you're royalty, what does that make Tholen?
Oh, him? A disgrace. A coward.
He's your brother.
She goes, yes. What would be an appropriate punishment for a brother who failed at his familial duties? Tholen's like looking at Bope like, hey, I've made my bed, I gotta sleep in it, and maybe one day I sneak off, but let's not push this.
I have a suggestion.
You cast suggestion? What does she do? No.
Deny him time above the ground. Make him toil with the plants and the crashed sky castle on the ground, so that his feet may never rise above again.
Oh, yes, that is a good approach. We could send him back to Linar Mall. He could toil on the earth. And his penance will be to resurrect it, that the great flying stones rise once more. If he accomplishes that task, he will be forgiven. If not, he can stick with his little singing vegetables.
Truly a just punishment, I believe.
You're so kind and wise, she says, like with a little smile. It's interesting to note, every time you all speak, she seems to be like genuinely flattered, but with no one else. It appears that she only will listen to the Velkyn Weave, for they have bested her once before, and it may be that there are some incantations, despite her current state, that are making her very benign to you.
Okay.
As long as Delirious isn't being visibly questioning, that's fine. Like, just look over it now.
Your Majesty.
It's okay for Delirious to question. That's one of her finest qualities.
It's just spooky.
Probably can't stop my face from just doing it.
Your Majesty.
I don't judge. I wear masks for that reason. Yes.
The patron-client relationship that you were speaking of, is there formal paperwork that you would wish us to agree to so we know the terms of service?
I like the honor system, but I could have something drawn up.
Well, we could have our people
Besides,
go for it.
you are needed elsewhere. Now, if she, and she kind of looks, almost like wantingly at Lady Call, like, potential suitor. And Lady Call's like, not really my type. I would rather date him. Points over Quentin. But she's like, if I gotta choose between these, I have Vecna, Hand of Vecna, Book of Vile Darkness, and Dragon Mask. Hey. Yeah. Like she's trying to sort out all the nonsense and perform the calculus in her mind. She's just like, well, until they formalize a place for me to stay, we will sit ourselves in the clouds above Brindol. And from time to time, I might call upon you. Tholen, you are dismissed. And she points a finger at him. You see, he just vanishes. It was almost like a gun. He popped like a balloon.
So, paperwork for this alliance we've just forged.
It's so tedious. You would need a scribe. That was Blanche's job. No, thank you. Immerstall's like, I'll work on it with the council. That we feel that we would want to present both sides. And sort of the meta here now. And we'll sort of speak out of character. So, Queen Sansuri acts as a sort of icon, meaning she is a world shaper. She is a major NPC. She is a holder of relics. And it may be from time to time she has missions, one-shots, other agendas that the Velkyn Weave can execute on. The rewards will be great, but the risk will be high.
Mm-hmm.
Were you thinking of looking at the Tasha rules for patrons? The organization?
No, but that could be fun. I was actually pulling from the icon rules from 13th Age, but I think some patron rules would be interesting as well. The code name for the Velkyn Weave when they operate under her guise is the Nimbus.
I mean, at least it sounds cool.
Renyon
That's
would have
why I
wanted it
came up
this
with
way.
Jeff, are you able to introduce your character at this point? Stats don't have to be if you have a general.
Look in the Velkyn Weave chat.
I see.
Oh.
Raingrim Runehammer. I'm going to beseech to you a representative from my court. My fabled knight of runes. Rangrim. Rangrim.
That's never going to get mixed up ever.
Sir Rangrim Runehammer, present yourself.
Ma'am.
Describe how you appear.
No bloody idea.
Well,
all right.
I may figure it out.
Everyone in the
Cloaked
Velkyn
in
Weave,
shadow.
go around and describe. At this point, you are garbed as a member of her court. She has specific armor that she has fashioned for you in Cloud Giant attire. There is a mask you can wear. It's almost like a Phantom of the Opera style thing with runes marked on it. She has given you a sword of dragon slaying for right now. Just kind of like, listen, this is a dragon slaying sword for the meanwhile as your blessed item that was actually forged out of fragments of the Vodendod.
Ooh.
So yes, I will be wearing a helmet right now. So there's not a lot to see outside of. Looks like a dwarf, carries a big hammer.
Beard.
There's a beard sticking out.
Of course.
Gotta be.
Really decided on the color or anything.
Got a beard guard over it, so you can't really tell.
It's
Pleated.
got
Beard.
the armor. The armor all has runes all over, but you do notice that there are 3 that are very prominent in different places, and also standard dwarven iconography mixed in. as a ode to the ancestors. But
Next episode, he's going to take off his mask of many faces and reveal he was actually a fire genasi the whole time.
Polymorph wears off. He's a furbolg.
I, for one, look forward to my 10-foot tall dwarf.
Ooh.
I love it.
Nice.
I love it.
Rune Knight's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to discuss. Countess Sensori is satisfied with the Velkyn Weave. She's essentially going to park her airship above Brindol for now. The airship may move from time to time. Tholen has been banished to the ruins of Linar Mall. He will be redeemed if it ever flies again. Blanche Lafayette is considered an outlaw, and there is a bounty on her head. The Ghost Princess is being held prisoner inside Countess Sensori's scepter. However, she does have an incantation cast upon Queen Sensori that is keeping her benign for the time.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which is
Okay.
currently her sacrifice. Fogelus crashes into the airship. What I missed, y'all! Ah! And then gets disintegrated. No.
Oh,
No.
Wow.
Can't take any more deaths today.
Not today.
Not today. And with that, the council descends the stairs. The army has been chasing down these various war bands that have broken off from the Red Hand. The hand is shattered. The council has determined, and this will take place sometime later, everyone has had the benefits of a long rest now. Long rest. There were big celebrations. There was lamenting of the passing of Jarmath. There was a massive day of Rinian remembrance. His body unseen by the elves, or rather spirited away by the elves. They are keeping it in a secret place for protection. Perhaps one day he may rise again. We do not know. Deet and Tobias are still around. Their lizard folk are wanting to return to the swamp. They are currently having fun playing house, though, because the townsfolk are still to the north. They haven't quite marched on their exodus. However, we do have an increasing problem as these tremors and rifts are breaking the very foundations of the earth here in the Elsir Vale. The council has called the Velkyn Weave. We have located in the Wormsmoke Mountain the very fane of Tiamat. Sarvith has given us a map on how to access it. It appears that the ritual is attempting to bring hell to earth, and an infernal army may yet march upon these lands unless the ritual can be stopped. We request the Velkyn Weave to go and face this threat.
Yeah, we should probably do that. There's only room for so much hell here.
Yeah, I about had my fill personally.
We feel the best way to transport you would be by way of Magic Circle. Our resources have placed 2 in the Vale. There's one at the ruins of Drellin Ferry. There's one at Vrathkeep. Which would you prefer us to send you to?
which is closer to the Wormsmoke Mountains.
Yeah.
Vrathkeep by several days. And it is in a location that the Red Hand would not suspect you to be coming from.
I think it's probably a good idea.
Well, check on the old home.
And that was pretty close to the big bridge that Eldon took out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I say to this random NPC, and by the way, it's not Vrathkeep anymore. Remember, it's Renyon Keep.
Renion's Keep. Write that down. Write that down. Signed.
I've updated the paperwork, and I'll have a copy sent to old the hill giant there.
In triplicate. Yeah, Workelnaw. Oh, yeah.
Workelnaw.
Workelnaw. I love this keep. Attend it. He's actually like the tour guide that tells the youth the tales of the book of Meat. You can
And,
buy
Ti-
Deet and Tobias plushies from the gift shop.
Oh, I'm sure they're bestsellers.
Delirious, with Deed and Tobias, maybe suggest to them that they should set up, they're going back to the swamp, but probably want to keep up good relations with Brindol and everything else. Maybe like a week-long celebration once a year, They come down kind of like a cultural exchange.
Yeah. I don't... They actually... Have they told us they're planning to go back with the rest of the lizard folk?
I don't know them personally, but I mean...
I'm asking the GM.
So, Deet and Tobias need to lead their people, they feel. However, if Delirious asked, they would leave them to their own devices. It's very hard for them to give up power, though. I mean, they've come so far.
That's not a good sign.
Look what you've raised.
Well, they say, well, think of the cost. If we leave the lizard folk, they might feud with the elves again. They feud with the elves. They might push the elves out. Then the elves feud with the humans. Or we feud with the humans, or they could feud with the humans, and we consider them family now. They're like children to us, the same as we are children to you. You're a grandma, Delirious.
I just like to point out I am the youngest person here in this party.
Life moves fast.
I guess it does.
So yeah, they
okay. It's fine if they want to stay. I would like to encourage them to keep up diplomatic relations with their neighbors. It's helpful in this trying time.
We feel like we need to. We owe it to you. And there's going to need to be a lot of rebuilding that needs to happen. And perhaps we could have the lizard folk help good honest work for good honest wages. We did establish that guild before the town burned down.
Actually, what would be really cool is if you could go help our buddy rebuild Linar Mall, because he's had a real tough time.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he may just want to stay there by himself.
I figured he would be better there, which is why I suggested that.
I thought that was a great suggestion, frankly.
Also, there's more seeds of giant plants there that we can acquire and cultivate.
Well, I was kind of hoping we could get her to banish him with us or something, or have him be her contact with us, so we could,
I figured it had to seem a punishment.
I could have a big brother cloud giant druid hanging out with us. Yeah, that'd be great.
He's a cool dude. I'm all for it.
Dude. That's probably OP though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no more than Velociraptor or Deet and Tobias.
Well, if Deet and Tobias have to lead their people, do they have a lizard, a younger hatchling that they could send our way?
No, we're not going to do indentured servitude with their spawn.
No, it's more of an apprenticeship. Learning to be an adventurer.
More of an apprenticeship.
You get a level 1 lizard folk squire who just misbehaves. Run off. You're free now. They think about too. They're worried about the dragon returning and corrupting the lizard folk's brain.
Yeah, no, I mean it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense.
But they're conflicted though, because they like the idea. Deet and Tobias look at each other. Is this where they part ways and one goes to tend to Tholin on his own? Yes. They give an embrace, and Tobias, with his noodle neck, determines to go up and spend his days with Tholin. Well, Deet stays. He is a lizard folk and meant to rule his people. Tobias was merely a Yuan-Ti.
But you guys are such good friends.
Is this the end of the campaign?
No.
Do the sad music.
It's the end of tier 2.
But sad walking music at the end of the Incredible Hulk.
And they part and they make their way. So one will go to Tholin for now, and the other will return to the lizards, and that is decided in what happens. With that, what's done is done. Now, is there anything you want to do in Brindol before they send you off to the keep?
refresh basic supplies.
We can refresh basic supplies. You can spend the money and get some potions and things like that. Now, many of them were used over the course of the battle,
Right.
but everyone can get a like a greater potion of healing, maybe 2. Yes, enough rations for Bope to feed himself for a week.
Sure.
It's a newfound expense.
Engineering kits replenish. They're just back to full.
Took a little bit of the gravitas out of Bope's recollections of Renyon during that whole thing, but he was a great man.
So, what of Renyon then? The elves took his body?
The elves took his body and his loot, except for the stuff you stole.
Okay.
Technically, you didn't really steal.
He was
it.
our friend. It's not stealing.
Filched it.
He inherited
Filched it.
He
Inherited.
it
Inherited.
in an efficient manner.
Yeah.
But that said, if there are certain things you need off Renyon's body, his body's not out of this world, and you are friends with the elves, and depending on how you approach them, they may allow visitations.
I can't think of anything that I'd want off his body. No. Honestly, it just seems kind of disrespectful at this point. I don't think I'd do it.
I mean, the elves will possibly get some use out of it. And hey, if he ever resurrects, bam, he's got his stuff.
He's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll write out like a little note and seal it in wax and stuff. And hey, you guys want to leave? Write something to leave in case he does come back in the future. Put it with the body.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Come find us. We'll keep kicking ass.
And taking names.
P.S. We're the Nimbus now.
Oh.
That-
I was hoping one of the gods were going to intervene and be like, Bope impersonated me. We're wrestling now. No, and Renyon's not here to make them grappling checks. To be fair, Bope has survived being vulnerable to all damage types. Are there any other items you feel you would need to get from them? You essentially already got their magic items. Potions, I figure they could come up with something. In fact, we can say over like a few days. You are going to have to go quick. The longest you could take is 3 days, and then they want to teleport you all the way across.
We don't
the
want
continent,
to. We don't want to wait on this.
Kind of a big deal. Hell coming to Earth and all.
Yeah.
How much for a greater healing potion?
250 is the general.
250. Cool.
Yeah,
Right.
whatever the general is, you can deduct the money.
Good.
But they can't give more than 2 per player.
Right.
Just gonna take one.
Okay. What is Lady Call? Right.
What about her? Promise ring?
Yes, actually. Say, hey, would it be politically advantageous if you had somebody who was adventuring out in the field? That way you could, hold off suitors and whatnot.
She said, yes, I'm sure you can draw up the appropriate pedigree showing your impeccable lineage.
I've got several to choose from. Whichever you...
She like blushes and she's like, that is the most romantic thing I've ever heard. And at that point, yes, it's one of those things where she will wear the promise ring of Quentin the Hexblade, and if any suitors approach her, she is not available. And then Countess Sensori, Queen Sensori, goddess of hedge visitors, is like, we'll see about that. We'll have the bizarre love triangle.
Quentin? Quentin, was that wise?
Many things I do are not wise, but it seemed right.
I had heard that Eldon's eyes would have rolled so hard he'd have sprained his cornea or something.
What's life without some complications?
That's one way of
Peaceful?
looking at it.
Peaceful?
With that, spend the money on the equipment that you need, and you are transported to the
Keep of Renyan.
Renyan's Keep. It's in good condition right now, even though there have been battles through here. Workelnaw is there. He sleeps on the steps. Uncle Jor and his dogs are watching it as well. They're essentially doing some renovations. There is an artisan there, a dwarf stoneworker, who is making a statue in Renyan's honor in his heroic battle pose.
Wait, how long's it been?
A day. They sent a messaging spell to those guys.
It's not like obviously Renyan yet. It's only been a day. Come
It's
on.
just a
Let me
stone.
start
It's
it.
a slab, but they're starting it.
The pillar is in place.
First knocks have been hit in.
It was already being constructed. Wait.
We knew it was coming. In fact, we commissioned statues of every one of you, should any of you fall, and they're all like half formed. Quentin looks terrified in his. They're like, oh, that was his brother. A Medusa got him. He's already finished. That was his simulacrum. Got hit by a greater Medusa. Shame.
Fantastic.
Before he's transformed, he's just like,
Normal size in his. That's
But they're willing to share with you, particularly because Workelnaw lives in the Wormsmoke Mountains. He's willing to escort you to their foothills, lead you in.
well, yeah, that'd
Sounds
be
like a plan.
mighty fine of you. Appreciate that.
Right. We'll try to not get too deep because I know Jeff needs a character. That's one reason why I don't want to throw one of these combats at you. He's like, we'll improvise.
Hit him
There-
with my hammer.
Have there
Yeah.
been many earthquakes in the past or actual smoke from the mountain?
There are earthquakes recently. Bearded devils have been crawling out of the earth, they say. They've seen them. They've been attacking the giants. The hounds of hell have been known to roam. In fact, they chased our dogs off, and our dogs aren't free to go up the hills anymore. Trolls in large numbers have been shaking and sneaking about. Not only that, dangerous stone eaters, violent beings that typically bury themselves through the earth have been making themselves known, leaping out of the earth.
Huh. Not familiar with those. Trolls, you say? That's unusual. A lot of them?
More than there should be. And they're ugly ones, too. Stony faces, moldy hides, fungus-ridden.
Doesn't sound like the ones we encountered before.
Oh, it does.
Different
Yeah.
than the ones you've encountered.
Different type of trolls out here. Goodness. Well, is the forest just that much more dangerous now between here and the mountains?
From time to time, we don't know if any of the fiends are roaming about. They've been sneaking into the woods. They've been causing problems. In fact, they've all but caused the dryads to go extinct around here.
Uh-oh.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
Have you
Not
seen
in the least.
Have you seen one of these rents in the earth yourself with your own eyes?
We came close to it. We looked nearby. However, the spawn from below howled at us, and we went back to the keep.
Otherwise, then. Well, that's disconcerting. There's not one between here and the mountains that we have to avoid?
No, only in the mountains themselves.
Oh, good. Where we're going. Even better.
Beware the beaked, bird-like creatures that stalk the stones. Well, that's not a riddle either. He's like, no, there's some monstrous
Monstrous bird things
carnivorous
up there. in the
birds
mountains.
up
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Yeah. Dreaded Bahirs,
ooh,
similar to
Ooh.
those that roam the Thorn Waste.
Oh,
and
Yeah,
a
fact.
whole host of remaining red hand.
I can't just roll over and piss off. All right.
Well, we got a job to do.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Should get
You
going as soon as
have
we
it.
can.
You have a job to do. And so with that, the group is free to make their way up the Wormsmoke Mountains. Now, it is the most hellacious part of the Elsyr Vale, no pun intended, because of the hell rifts that are opening. You can see in the location of the Wormsmoke Mountains, following Sarvis' map, that there is a stony fane of Tiamat high up the mountains, but it's probably going to be a day or two climb to get up there. Why don't we have a roll of percentile dice? Jeff, why don't you roll it?
He
loves
rolled
rolling
the
dice.
most die of anyone this episode.
But has said
What?
the least.
29.
29. Not far from where you're at, you come to a rope bridge. And on this rope bridge, you can tell that it is very old, and there is a chance that it is possibly going to give way. Describe to me how the Velkyn Weave crosses it. You can fly on your flying carpet, you can walk across it naturally, but it all depends. Remember, there have been challenges when you've decided to take the carpet for.
Is it suspiciously windy?
There's some wind, but not a suspicious amount. Apologize for the yawn.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, if we've been hoofing it this far, I'd give the bridge a shot. Carefully.
I'd like to summon an unseen servant to walk across the bridge, see if it triggers any trap.
Before or after I start walking across?
Yeah.
I sit down and start my ritual. I just look up and like, oh, wait, okay, never mind.
I mean,
So, go ahead.
I can throw some familiars up. They can do a little test on the bridge if you want.
I mean, I'm small, but they're like tiny.
Sure,
the
but I was
familiars-
thinking
Stack
Are they
them up.
visible or invisible?
depends on at the time.
Yeah, but well,
At this
describe to
time.
me.
Okay, I'll burn a spell slot, do the flock of familiars, and summon up 3 imps. They won't be invisible to start with, and they'll check the ropes and kind of work across, kind of standing on them, shaking them and stuff. See if there's any weak points.
And they're not invisible right now?
No, because it takes an action too, and we're not in combat, so no.
3 hobgoblins come out. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! What are y'all boys doing over there? Imps, imps, and they're like, ugh. Those devils sent their imps on our rope bridge. They assume these imps are with the infernal armies that are summoning. These guys were like hiding behind stones.
Are they on the opposite side, or
They're on the opposite side, and they're not going on the bridge. They're just like, stop playing on that.
Hey.
An army might need to use it.
In my voice in unison. Sorry, in Goblin? Just checking the bridge. Regulations.
No, these devils and their regulations. You know, we were about to deregulate this, and they pull out their heavy crossbows. And like one of them, the other one comes out, was like, no. You don't want to get the big horn bads mad because you felt like sending a couple of them back down there. They're like, it's not a very far trip. Fissures are just at the bottom of the drop, and they start like debating amongst themselves. But there appears to be a group of hobgoblins over here, and this is one of their checkpoints. They're bored and lazy and kind of like sulking in defeat.
While they're chatting, I'll have the imps go invisible, and so it seems we have some company.
Hey, you know, these guys are honestly usually pretty reasonable when they're defeated. We defeated them. Think they'll just let us cross? Because, you know, we already kicked their ass once.
We might need
Yeah.
to kill one of them first to make an example.
Do we have to?
Fair.
Can we just try?
Rangrim, what do you think there, bud?
Yeah, I was going to say, I know
You've
you don't have
been pretty
stats
quiet.
yet. Rangrim? Yeah.
You've been pretty quiet. I know you kind of got thrust into our party here.
Please
by,
declare yourself as leader of the Nimbus.
the queen.
I mean, there's an object in our way. I'm just good with taking it. Go right through him.
Okay, so we know Rangrim's for the direct approach. I appreciate that. I do.
We also know Rangrim
Guys.
way more talkative than Renyan.
I don't think I like replacement Renyan.
Wow.
I'll look up.
No. I was behind my hand. You can't hear.
It's not how that works, Lassie.
When
I
you
say
want to
w-
go declare, yeah.
Yeah, go across. Hey, hobgoblins and goblin. We're
Are you
coming
visible?
across. We're not
Everyone?
enemies. I'm yelling.
Oh, they see. They're like, no. Off limits. Can't let you go forward.
Start walking.
Do you have a permit?
Yes.
We are the Velkyn Weave. We beat you once already.
You're walking across the bridge?
Yes.
All right. So the bridge is a little more wobbly for a creature that's heavier than an imp that also can't fly.
Fun.
Make an athletics check, and we're going to assume you're proficient in this.
Oh, athletics, you say?
He's a fighter. Of course he's proficient in athletics.
A +8 in my athletics, you say?
That's very nice.
23.
Oh, with a 23, Rangrim, they're like, oh, he's got good balance! And, like, they get ready to shoot the bridge, and one of them's like, but then the bridge will be out! And you make your way across, and they're just like,
No. Please, shoot the bridge. I dare you.
Don't do it, hobgoblins.
they're really confused. They're like, are y'all, like, together? Or are you two separate parties?
Whose side is he?
We're working stuff out.
See.
He's an envoy from the Nimbus. We're the Velkyn Weave.
You won't do it, you cowards.
At this name of Nimbus and Velkyn Weave, they all kind of look around, and then one of them speaks up. He's been quiet. He's kind of been leaning across the back on the rock. His arms are folded. He goes, I know that one. He points at Eldon. You're the one that bested the dragon.
Yeah, that's what they say.
It's what you did. I was there. A
Were
lot of
you
folks
one of-
died that day.
A lot of bridges too.
For more folks, I think, would have died if I hadn't. So,
I'm a bridge specialist, he says. All my bridges collapse. I'm 0 for 2 this campaign.
Was this the hobgoblin that survived in the shitter when we'd ridden, like, the Nimbus was here on the inside? Part of the
Yes.
Terror campaign?
Oh, this one's very well familiar. And
Look,
he's
fella.
just kind of... He's actually seen Eldon, though. Eldon's the only one he's seen. Because he remembers watching a flight from a dragon. Go. They had bets on whether or not you'd make it.
made it.
Made a lot of money that day. You survived. Spunk.
What's it gonna be?
Tell you what. We can't stop you from going up the mountain.
Right.
You're tougher than us. We're not. We're bridge watchers.
I looked back at the rest of them. Huh.
You can tell. There's a reason why they kept these guys at home when the big battle went down. And you have seriously damaged the Red Hand. They go,
Tell me
"But
this isn't their A team right here, watching the bridge up the mountain.
we're more like their police academy. You go up that mountain, though. There's certain death waiting for you.
Do tell.
Well, when you ascend, there's going to be one known as Tirgarin. Tirgarin is pretty upset that the Battle of Brindol didn't go our way, and is pretty upset about, well, playing goalie back here.
What type of creature is he? Or her?
He's a Dargan. A blue one.
Oh,
Is he
He is
mispronouncing
fierce.
dragon?
Yeah, that's what I said, Dargan.
Okay,
Okay.
understood.
Why is everyone laughing when I say that?
I don't speak goblin.
so Tirgrin's up there.
Tirgarin the blue.
Is he tougher than Brithriax?
The sapphire of the sky. No one's tougher than a Brithriax.
Great, we got it.
Velkyn Weave, apparently. Thanks for killing that dragon. Why couldn't have you killed the green one?
He ran away.
Hey, I've got a proposition. We come across peacefully. You have a story to tell to raise your cachet with your fellow troops when you finally get back.
Mm.
You met the Velkyn Weave and the Nimbus, and you live to tell the tale.
Yeah, but I already did that.
Day's not over, friend.
How would you? Yeah.
He's like, all right.
How would you like to not do that?
Here's what they say. They say they are going to have to. They can't let you go up the hill without a fight. And we are hobgoblins, so we actually must fight you. Let us see this day what the Velkyn Weave is made of. Roll for initiative.
I
Now,
get
these
to
are,
roll dice tonight.
They're all dead.
you rolled a lot of dice the past 3 sessions.
Yes,
so-
that's true.
and it's one of those things that could have teleported you to Dungeon
So
Store.
many dice.
Oh, okay, there.
Hey. Got a couple
what'd you
20s
get?
in there.
A 16.
6.
20.
20. Rangram?
17.
You're all going before the hobgoblins. There are 8 of them in total.
Are they
appear
grouped
to be up-
together?
They appear to be in like pairs of 2. They're all kind of spread out. And
Oh,
there's one
boo.
separated from a. Yes. I know. Well, they're sloughing on their job. All right. Hobgoblins. The hobgoblins have rolled. They have 3 different rolls. So, because there are 3 different type of hobgoblins here. Uno. A 3. That was a lot of build up for a 3. And a 10. The last one. A 9. So they're all going after the Velkyn Weave. So
I got a 6.
Oh, maybe not all of them.
Pope.
Really winded as I gnaw on a Nutrigrain bar.
He just emptied out his whole pack, and he's just feeling
Yeah.
sluggish.
Ugh, I don't know if we brought enough food, you
Launch
guys.
Launch
People are so
Lafayette gave you
hungry.
an alchemy jug that you keep filling with honey. You just keep eating it.
Better than the mayonnaise option.
Mayonnaise.
Spoonfuls.
Pope's going next
Who
to
needs
us.
who needs a cursed book? I got the curse of diabetes.
Diabetes.
Oh no!
Thank
All
you,
right,
Wolfer
so,
family.
all right. So Delirious and Quentin were tied, I believe.
Eldon and
Eldon, what did you have?
I had a 20, so Delirious. Yeah.
Okay, and then I see Quentin right there. Who has the higher dex out of you?
2 plus 2? Delirious, what do you got?
Sorry, what?
Dex modifier.
Also 2.
Yeah, I'm 14.
We will go D then E, so Delirious will go first.
I beat you in the alphabetical lineup by 1 letter.
Your plan has finally worked all along.
I've been
Every
waiting for
choice
them.
of the character build matters. That's why I name myself exclamation point whatever. Underscore Grant. All right. All right, what you got?
Okay, I am going to shoot the hobgoblin leader. Yeah.
The mouthy one or the one you assume is the leader because he looks the fanciest?
The one who looks the fanciest. Actually, no, you know what? I am going to shoot the mouthy one.
Why?
Because he was mouthy. He gave me lip, and I'm not in a great mood.
Oh. He's like, all right, go ahead and roll.
Does a 13 hit the mouthy one, please?
Not even close.
Damn it.
These hobgoblins are hard to hit.
Ugh.
He's like the cleric mystery.
Not only that, after you miss him, he seems to mutter something under his breath, and then other hobgoblins seem to take notice of you. Anything
What
else
does
you're
that
doing?
mean? Nothing. Standing behind the dwarf. But the dwarf's across the bridge and we're not. I stand behind Eldon.
Do you want to have had the Velkyn Weave cross the bridge at any point? If you want, I can have you all over there, because they
So-
didn't stop you from crossing it.
Big conversation to have across a bridge.
I mean, I'm totally
Yeah.
across the bridge.
Okay, in that case, I am standing behind the dwarf.
Sure, we crossed them.
Yeah. I haven't had a map because we don't have all the minis, and it's kind of an inaccurate map. I need to reuse it for other ones. Wasn't sure you were going to have this bridge encounter. It was a D100 roll. So, yeah. The encounter's name is Shitty Hobgoblins. Pardon my language. They're pretty broken. But if nothing else from Delirious, Eldon.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll start with I'll bonus action my spirit totem. The eagle up in the sky over the mass of hobgoblins. It's got a 30-foot radius effect from below it. And I will then wild shape into a giant goat.
Nice.
But I have to do that as an action.
Hell goat. All right.
So that's it. I'm just gonna like paw the ground aggressively, like I'm about to charge him. You know?
All right, Rangrim.
Question.
Unfinished character? Yes.
What counts as a martial weapon?
A weapon that has the martial tag associated with it.
Anything's not a
So
simple
great
weapon.
swords, yeah.
It doesn't list either of that. So what's a maul?
A maul is a martial weapon. Yeah.
Why is it not? It doesn't say anything here.
Martial weapon's not a tag in the 5e player's handguide.
Yeah.
They're just separated by list.
Simple weapons and martial weapons. It's
Okay.
definitely- it's a martial weapon.
Are any of them near a ledge?
I would say this, on D&D Beyond, they do have the tags, whether they're martial or simple. Yes, there is at least one of them near a ledge.
Cool. I'm gonna move up to that one and attempt to just bop him off the ledge.
Oh, how's athletics?
Or
It's not.
You're gonna
It's a.
special
It's.
bop move.
I do have special bop moves.
All right,
Right.
describe it.
I mean, I still have to hit.
Okay.
So I move up and I make an attack.
Okay.
Does a 20 hit?
Yes, it does.
Cool. I knock him 5 feet in a direction with Crusher as I hit him with a maul.
Ooh, nice.
You hit him, and down he goes. He falls down the chasm, and he dies on impact because that little one did not have as many HP as the others.
And I turn to the next one.
Whoa.
Second attack.
This one is not next to the edge.
I don't know. That's fine.
You're going to grapple him, walk him to the edge, and then with a magical third attack, knock him. What?
He's going to suplex him off.
No.
the edge.
No, I
Yes.
bonus action grow to large size and then crush him with maul.
Bonus action. Go to large size.
It's a Duergar! If you were a Duergar Rune Knight, you could grow, then grow! No.
As everything grows with me, I'm outside, so I don't have to worry about area. I'm assuming a 27 hits.
Absolutely does.
And then large is how does large change damage?
I think it doubles the dice or adds an extra to it.
Doesn't it
With
go
like
up
the
a stat?
Duergar, they
It
hit
adds a
1d8
D4.
and 2d8.
Oh, I
It
see.
does something. Yeah.
Duh. I need to find out what that actually does. Yeah.
If it's the
Yeah,
enlarged
I'll-
thing, it's a D4.
For next week.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just grab the dice you feel appropriate for now. No.
D100.
well, I mean, sure. And then I will. Do I have another thing I can do? There's so many things that this guy can do.
So
Don't do 'em all at once,
you
man.
do it not 1d4, it's 1d6 per D&D Beyond. If you're
Oh.
using
Yeah, Giant's Might gives me a 1d6, and I don't know if that's for being large or if that's part of Giant's Might. So if it's an extra d6 or a separate d6 or the same.
I'll double check.
Um,
Usually you do the weapon damage. I can double check though.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll this with a solid 7 to 13 plus.
Yeah.
5.
Because one of the weird things about this is like it's not like you're not casting the enlarged spell. You're using Giant's Might, which is a feature.
Yeah. Does it give me strength? Or no, probably not. So that'll just be a 18 damage.
18 damage? Describe how you crush this hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Like I said, I bop the first guy, then as I turn at him, I hulk out and then just
like
drive
the-
into ground.
I like the idea of bopping the one, but then turning with like a Shaquille O'Neal elbow that just takes his head off. Just, oops, I threw the bow.
I just pictured it too because I've seen him.
All right, yeah. And next, Quentin.
Is there anybody within like 15 feet of me or so? If not, I'll move a little
Absolutely.
bit. Okay. I motion out with a free hand, and I'm trying to lightning lure him closer. I need a strength save 16 DC.
Strength save 16 DC. On the hobgoblin.
Yeah. I guess they're all
Do you want
hobgoblins.
to grab? Yes. Would you?
If
want
there's
to
a
grab
weaker
the
looking
in
one?
green armor or blue armor? They all look strong.
Green armor.
Green armor. All right. 18.
Well, that sucks. Okay. Bonus action, telekinetic. I'll try and pull him a little bit closer. Not quite what I wanted, but another strength 16 DC.
Fails.
Not doing that again? Okay. I'm done.
No, he failed.
Oh,
so you
got it.
succeeded.
He stumbles 5 feet closer.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah. All
Well,
right.
actually, not 5 feet closer to me, but 5 feet closer to whatever ledge. I'm just trying to.
Okay. The hobgoblins are going to charge. Two of them are charging at Quentin and swinging. Now these are little hobgoblins, so we'll see what they do. A 10 probably does not hit, nor does another 10 when the other one attacks you. So two hobgoblins came after you and attempted to hit you and failed. One is going up. So it'd be great if Rangram died before he was even finished.
Try again. Make the artificer now. He doesn't even realize we're talking about him. He's not used that name yet.
All right, so Bope, which side of the bridge are you on?
I'm standing next to Doliris.
Okay. A hobgoblin runs up to smash you.
Runs up to who?
Bope.
Bope.
Cool.
And it's one of those things where he's within range. I'm describing as running up. He's just kind of close by, so he just closes and just says, all right. And he attempts to hit you with his shield. So
growl and throw up my own shield.
Magic.
He rolled a 29.
Oh,
That's a 20 plus 9. That is a critical hit.
You see one of the runes flare on a shoulder pad. As the shield is about to connect with Bope, it instead impacts one of his brethren.
How's that work?
Cross.
Describe the ability to me.
It is, where'd you go? It is the, that's not that one. It is the Cloud Rune. When a creature I see within 30 feet of me is hit by an attack roll, I use my reaction to invoke the rune and choose a different creature within 30 feet of me other than the attacker. The chosen creature becomes the target of the attack using the same roll. This magic can transfer the attack's effects regardless of range.
This is great. So it's really cool because it shifts the damage over and causes a bunch of damage to hit the other hobgoblin that is next to him. And just so the audience knows, because this is an ability you're maybe not too familiar with, you can do it once every short rest. So it's like a life-saving clutch combat ability to redirect
good time
an
for
attack.
wow.
Yes. Let's see if the hobgoblin he hits falls, because that would be funny.
Bops another one off.
Sorry, Bob.
Yeah. All right. Then two other attacks are coming at Bope.
Okay, so I got my shield up.
Critical fail. Got a 1.
Ooh,
Did he stab
26
himself in the
to
gut?
hit.
26 hits.
All right. So the 26 is going to hit you for 8 points of damage. And
8?
then you take and then you take another. Now remember, you're vulnerable.
Yep, so 16.
And then another 14 points of damage.
To
that also
28?
is doubled.
I think you're
Okay.
sitting next to the cleric.
Yes. Another hobgoblin comes in and attempts to attack Rangrim. He can only swing twice, though. He rolls a 1.
His ankles.
Crit fails. I had all those nat 20s last week.
You did. You had a lot of 20s last week.
His second attack is a critical hit, though. So that's a lot of criticals that I've rolled too. 1s and 20s. Thank you, roll 20. Hashtag not sponsored. So this will hit for 16 points of damage. And it is piercing damage, not slashing damage. That's weird. That is the hobgoblin's turns, all of them that could go now.
Even taking that, Rangrim probably still has more HP than anyone else in the party.
Yeah, rub it in.
He certainly has more than Bope at the moment. How you doing, Bope?
Down to less than half.
Okay. because there are still more hobgoblins out there, and some of them are scary. We cast 3rd level magic missile at him. Now we do it again. Don't have any shield spell slots. No, I'm kidding.
Still up. The shield is still up.
All right. So, Bope, you're up.
Okay, seeing Rangrim enlarge, Bope was actually sort of elbowing Delirious, being like, "Oh, that's really cool," and like eating some popcorn. And then he got smashed in the face. It would have gotten smashed even more, probably even killed. I don't know, if it weren't for this crazy cloud ruin. And so a little blood going down his face. He was like, "We need more of that." And I'm going to cast Enlarge on Rangrim. So instead of being large, he's now what? Huge?
Yes.
Oh, I don't roll anything.
Does it work like that?
Well, you
Yes.
specifically said it was not the enlarge spell.
It's
Not the
not.
enlarge spell. It
mean,
would.
If
This is
it
cool.
doesn't work, I can cast it on the goat.
No, it works. Like, absolutely. You've enlarged. Unless enlarge says you can't make a large creature bigger. What
No,
does it
'cause
Well-
you did it to me as a giant goat once. So
If-
you made
if
a
you
large creature
cast-
huge.
If you cast it on the goat, then Rengrim can ride the goat.
Let's see.
The target size doubles in all dimensions. Its weight is multiplied by 8. It increases the size category by 1, from medium to large, for example.
That's just an
Good.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have advantage on strength checks, strength saving throws, and your weapons deal an extra d4. So not as good as your thing, but
Still
You're
good.
even larger.
And
He's
now
a
you get the
huge
extra one.
dwarf.
He is a huge
Fee,
dwarf.
fi, fo, fum.
He's
Yes.
having an identity crisis.
I smell the blood of a hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin scum.
Ah! Terrified. These poor little hobgoblins. They're actually pretty tough. You just keep throwing them off the cliff. There's some weaker ones, but there's some tougher ones too. And there's a lot of dead ones down at the bottom of the chasm. Like, hell's not so bad. So now you get an additional 1d4 on top of your 1d6.
Super.
Didn't pay.
Dun, 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 dun. Anything else you're doing, Bope?
no, I think I'm engaged with 2, so I can't walk away.
All right. So, Eldon, are you across on the same side as them?
Are you
That would be
engaged
yes.
with 2?
Well, I got hit
Oh,
by
I think
2.
it was. I think the one had 2 attacks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they have multiple attacks. Most of them, except the ones that are getting whack-a-hobgoblin. So, let me get this up. And... actually not that good. So, 14 and 8 to attack Eldon.
Yeah. 14 hits. Giant goat.
So the 14 hits you for 9 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And then you take an additional 10 points of damage as well.
Back to being
And
Eldon.
then there's some more muttering. Yep. Whoop. Ah.
19 hit points is what the giant goat got.
And with that, we're going to go back to the top of initiative, and Doliris is back on deck.
Okay. I am going to slap my buddy Bope, old pal.
Oh, too hard.
You deal enough damage to
With the
kill.
carpet.
This is for
I grant you the strength to carry on the fight. Oh, that was a good roll. Take 29.
Oh,
Jesus.
Imora
Wow.
refuses to heal him. I'm kidding.
okay.
Uh-oh.
Seriously?
I mean,
No,
it
it
would be
happened.
appropriate.
I mean,
Could
it would be
happen.
interesting.
So here, I'm not gonna say whether or not I'm flipping coins over here because she has chance related, but Bope may have misrepresented himself on a couple of occasions with a couple different gods while
Oh.
holding Vecna's book.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I am a fighter. I can't take 3 attacks.
Woo!
That's.
Forgot about action surge. That's a thing.
I thought you just
That
had
is
3
a
attacks
thing.
by now. No? Okay.
At level
I
9?
can win. Action surge.
Ooh.
All right. Anything else, Delirious?
No.
All right, Eldon, you're up.
All right. The mouthy one. What's he doing?
He's swinging a great sword into Bope, and he's like, "Why don't he go down? They said he bleeds easy."
Armor? You wearing a fair bit of armor?
A lot of armor.
Sweet. You know what that means?
Heat
metal.
Ah!
At 3rd level.
That's a good spell.
Ooh,
We're gonna do heat metal at 3rd level.
Yeah.
you can't unsmell that.
No, you can't. Okay. That's gonna do. Oh, that's a garbage roll. 9 points of fire damage. And it's armor, so he can't just drop it, I guess.
No, he's yielding from the combat though. He's like, ants in my pants. I burned my flesh. Scorched. That's gonna leave a mark. Awful, awful, awful. Mean.
And
Anything else you're doing?
bonus
Shillelagh?
action shillelagh on the staff. Because I might go give him a whack, but if he's like actually yielding, I'll leave it.
He's yielding. The hobgoblin's numbers are thinning. With that, Rangrim, you're up. Rangrim the giant.
Yes.
Dwarf giant.
Huge.
Giant dwarf or dwarven giant? What do you prefer?
Dwarven giant.
The Knight of Sansuri.
So, are there any others easy to knock off a ledge?
There's one. Could very
Uh,
well be their leader, some would say.
I guess. What is my reach now?
You're
wow.
I don't. Whatever it doesn't. We'd have to look. I'd let you hit from 10 feet right now, then we'll figure out the logistics.
Because I mean, I could basically kind of step in front of everyone, and yeah, let's.
I think that's the way this works. Ant-Man it.
Let's hit the first one.
Or like Sauron walking through the battlefield, you know?
Yeah. Does a 20 hit again?
Yes. Well, that hits this one, so
Bop.
the highest armor class on them is 20.
Okay,
Plate mail and shield.
so bop that one off.
He goes down, and he's falling. He doesn't die on impact. It looks like he has survived the fall, but he curses the sky. Some of them have a lot of hit points.
And then I will then attempt to crush the one on Bope.
All right.
Weapon attack at a 21, so that'll hit. Then D4, you're over here. 13 plus. It's 5 right now because I didn't actually hear what weapon you said I had, so I just have a regular maul. So 18 damage.
18. That may be enough to finish that one off. Yeah, that'll bring him under. He had 17 hit points remaining, dropping to -1, which describe how the final hobgoblin is felled before the new dwarven giant.
I mean, there's not much to say. There's literally a huge maul just squishing him and drenching Bope with gore and
He's
ichor.
in the splash zone.
You just got what is that? A Gallagher.
It's raining men.
Or
Hallelujah.
Rangrimmed.
It's
Render.
Rangrim. Yeah, I'll figure it out. The song. And with that, the Velkyn Weave has forcibly taken the bridge. They are not far from the fane of Tiabat, the dread stronghold of Azar Kul, leader of the Red Hand Horde, which has been shaken and is attempting to open up the rifts to the hells below. And that's a good time to stop for the night. So let's leave there. Obviously, intense session, death of a friend, new character coming in.
All in the
That will
same
get
session?
to be, all in the same session. Let's do some quick reminders and some thanks, and then we will raid a friend.
All right, don't forget to subscribe to the Games Tavern YouTube channel. Subscribing is free, and that way you don't miss out on any of the content we put out there, and it can even get you access to some additional content. We also appreciate any likes or positive comments you're willing to lend. It really helps us get the word out about our stuff.
And now the winner of the Overhead Games Epic Avatar Generator from the giveaway is Veratus23. Congratulations to you, the tech goblins. You can reach out on Twitch to get your information to send you your awesome prize.
Nice.
And everyone, go visit overheadgames.com and check out their Avatar Maker tools.
And as we draw this session to a close, we want to thank tabletopaudio.com for providing the music, the ambiance, and the sound effects that has taken us through so much in this session, from Brynion's death to Rangrim's entrance and everything in between. The Countess, now Empress, returning. Vecna's influence is deep, and the audience, or the audio that tabletopaudio.com helps build the ambiance of our sessions, not just ours, but any of the others here on the Games Tavern live play shows. You can use Tabletop Audio in your own campaigns by going to tabletopaudio.com and choosing from over 250 music and ambiance tracks. We think so highly of them, of course, that we support them. We would love you support Tabletop Audio as well. We hope to see you all next week when, well, we're going to scale this mountain and see what lies on top. Yes. Have a good night, everyone.
See you next week.
Thanks.
Bye, folks.